Hey everyone, welcome to Up All Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. Today, I'm making this snowman jack-in-the-box, and I'm participating in the Funtime Friday collab, hosted by Tiff of Broke Girl Aesthetic, and co-hosted by LaParsha of Creating It Myself. Links to their channels, as well as the playlist, are in the description box. Let's get into it. To start, I'll cut a flat spot on my 2.5-inch styrofoam ball, and 2 flat spots on my 3-inch ball. This will keep my ball from rolling around, and it will make it easier to stack my small ball on top. I'm using Crayola Air Dry Clay to cover my styrofoam balls. I grab a handful, and I'll knead it and roll it until it's nice and flat. I'll wrap the clay around my ball, pressing it onto the surface firmly to make sure it sticks. Keep adding clay as needed until my ball is completely covered. Then, I roll it around a bit to both smooth it and really get it to adhere. And I repeat the process on the smaller ball. Using 3 toothpicks, I'll attach the head to the body. I push the toothpicks about halfway down into the body. Then I push the head onto the toothpicks and into place. I roll a thin cane of clay to fill that gap between the head and the body. I just push it into the space and kind of flatten it with my fingers. I use the handle of the paintbrush to roll the cane clay into the clay on the head and body, so it looks like a solid piece. I'll add a wee bit of water with my brush, and I just keep working it until it's smooth. I roll a thicker cane for his arms, and I check to make sure that they're the right width. I cut the cane to size, and then I'll cut it in half. And with my fingers, I'll round the flat edges. I'll push my arms into place. He'll have a bend in his arms so he can hold his lollipop. Once they're in place, I'll use my brush handle to incorporate them into the clay of his body. To make his hat, I'll use a bit of the cane that was left over from his arms, and I'll roll it into a cone shape and flatten the bottom a bit. To attach it, I'll use the toothpick, just like before. I push it into his head, and I push the hat down onto it. And I work the clay with my brush handle. For his hat bobble, I'll use this gumdrop mini ornament. I just push it into the very tip top of his hat. I've rolled a small ball of clay, which I'll cut in half. These will be his cheeks. Once I've placed them, I'll incorporate them, same as all the other sections, using my brush handle. I press the brush handle into the bottom of his cheeks to give him dimples. And I rolled a teeny ball for his nose. Once again, working it with my brush handle. He'll need to dry for at least 2 days. So while I'm waiting, I'll work on his box. I'm going to flip it over and use the bottom as the top. I'll paint the top and about an inch on the sides with ceramic coat watermelon. I want to cover that apple shape, so I'm going to Mod Podge a piece of cardstock over top of it. This will make it much easier to Mod Podge my wrapping paper over top of that section of the box. I've cut my wrapping paper slightly longer than my box, and I'm going to Mod Podge completely around the box. I'll align the edge of my paper with the edge of my box. I'll use my roller to get out all the bubbles and wrinkles. Turning the box over, I'll cut slits into my paper at the corners and fold the flaps into the box using Mod Podge to glue them in place. Then I'll deposit a layer of Mod Podge all over the box. I'll give this little circle 2 coats of acrylic white. This will be used as a wee sign for the front of the box. I've painted 2 coats of watermelon on this cute wee spool, which will be the handle to the crank. First I'll add some white stripes. Then I'll add some Americana sour apple stripes. To decorate the ends, I'll dip dot them with white and sour apple. And I'm almost in frame there. Jeez. Sorry. So I'll add a sour apple border around the wood circle, and then I'll add a spring green border around that. On my silhouette, I've cut the words "It's Christmas Time" from red and green vinyl, which I'll apply to my wood circle. The word Christmas is in Remachine font, and "It's" and "Time" are in Font Diner. Both are available on defont.com. To give it a bit more of a Christmassy feel, I'll paint on some holly with spring green and watermelon. To give that inner leaf edge definition, I'll outline it with Jubilee green, and I'll dip dot the berries, and then I'll highlight the berries with white dots. And of course, I'll spray the circle and the spool with clear matte sealer. It's been 24 hours of drying, and as you can see, there's some cracking. To fix this, I'll use a tiny bit of clay and kind of smear it along the cracks. I'll use a damp brush to smooth it. I don't want to use too much water because that'll just make it crack again. I do this to all the cracks, especially on his face, and he'll need to dry for at least another 24 hours. I'll use some E6000 to glue a small washer to a bigger washer. I'm going to use the washers as an escutcheon for the crank. I've printed and cut some seasonal images on some cardstock, and I'll Mod Podge them onto the back and the sides of my box. I'll use both wood glue and some hot glue to attach my wood circle to the front of my box. Cute, isn't it? I'll drill a hole where my crank will go. And I'll paint my washers with watermelon. With E6000, I'll glue my washers over the hole, making sure it's centered. To make the crank, I've cut an extra long piece of craft wire. First, I'll wrap one end around a dowel a couple of times. This will keep my spool from sliding off the end. I'll fill the front end of the spool with hot glue and slide the spool right up against that curl. Then I'll add glue to the other end. Push the wire through the hole on my box. Then I bend the wire straight up vertically. I'll bend it again so that it's perpendicular to the table to form the crank. I'll wrap the wire on the inside of the box around itself and I'll cover it in hot glue. With this really cute Christmas cording, I'll glue an outline on the embellishments. With snow tags, I'll give my box a frosty look. With an old paintbrush, I'm tapping the snow starting at the corner, and I'll work my way across the front. I'll add some red and green caviar beads, and then I'll sprinkle it with sugar glitter. And I'll repeat this on all sides. So, our snowman is dry, and there are no more cracks on his face. Yay! There are still some on his body, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'll give him 2 solid coats of white acrylic paint. And I'll dry brush him with some Tropic Bay blue that I've softened with white. I especially focus on his facial features, and I'll make sure to get in all the nooks and crannies. I paint his hat with 2 coats of watermelon. And I dry brush his nose and his cheeks with watermelon too. His eyes will be hippo gray, just a simple arch, like a D, sideways. He gets some eyelashes. A quick wee happy smile. And some eyebrows. I'll highlight his features with Tropic Bay blue. I also highlight his eyes with white dots. I'll add some red glitter dots to his nose and his cheeks. He gets watermelon, spring green, and sour apple stripes on his wrists. I found this little dot pounce among my supplies. Had no idea I even had it. It's perfect for adding polka dots to his hat, white and sour apple. And I'll add smaller spring green dots with the skewer. And white swirls in the green dots and sour apple dots in the white dots. With a cosmetic sponge, I apply Mod Podge over the snowman, then I'll sprinkle him with sugar glitter. I do this in sections since the Mod Podge dries quickly. To trim his hat, I'll make a white puff paint border. I do this in sections also because I want to add green beads and sugar glitter. I feel like it's easier to do it this way. You know, instead of all in one go, because then I'll put my hand in that paint for sure. I glue some crepe paper garland around his neck. The link to my garland video is in the description box. I trim off the excess and I'll glue his lollipop in place. I used wood glue and hot glue to attach him to the base. No idea what happened to that clip. And I'm adding a bead of hot glue around his body for extra support. And just like I did on the sides, I'll cover the top of the box with snow text, and I'll add beads and glitter in sections. Here he is, all finished, and he's all excited for Christmas. Oh, what a happy week guy. I think he turned out really cute. I kind of like him. I hope you like him too. I want to thank Tiff and LaParsha for hosting Funtime Friday. Please be sure to check out their channels. The links are in the description box, as well as the link to the playlist. I would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe, and comment, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check the bell icon so you can get notifications of upcoming videos. I usually upload on Friday, unless there's a playlist earlier in the week, but I'll put that in my discussion tab on my homepage. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up All Night with Monica.